Team Biden's agenda has never been about building back better. It's always been about managing the decline of America, really maybe even empowering the decline of America. And right now, there is a looming national defense crisis that no one is talking about. America is struggling to fill the ranks with new recruits in the military. The Heritage Foundation is reporting today in a newly released report that recruiting will get even more difficult in the coming years, to the point where the military may consistently fail to meet its goals. That goal is to attract 160,000 new recruits each year. And you know what makes the recruitment harder? Vaccine mandates, left-wing pandering generals as well, and a commander-in-chief who despises America and the military. Who in the heck would want to go into the military when you have those things going on? Well, joining me now is someone very familiar with the sad turn our military is taking, former Space Force commander and the author of the book, Irresistible Revolution, Marxism, Goal of Conquest and the Unmaking of the American Military. Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Lohmeier is here. Colonel Lohmeier, it's great to see you.
Grant, happy to be here with you. Thanks.
Are you surprised by this Heritage report that we're going to have a real hard time filling ranks in the United States military?
Yeah, in fact, that was the first question out of my mouth to your viewers. Is anyone surprised about this? I mean, it doesn't take a strategist or a careful planner to see over the past several months, frankly, more than that we were going to face a retention and recruiting problem in our services. When I was a commander of a Space Force unit, I did dozens of interviews with my service members. The enlisted service members in particular, when asked why it is that they joined the service, would often say that they were interested in the GI Bill benefits, having their education paid for. And right now we've got a progressive leftist element, for example, in the Democrat Party that wants to make community colleges free, which will completely disincentivize a large portion of the 18 to 24 year group, part of our recruitment pool, from actually signing up to join the military. That had huge pull. And of course, I've written a book that you just mentioned about the Marxist revolutionary impulse that is not only sweeping across our country, but our military as well. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion industry is a great disincentivizer of people on both sides of the political aisle. No one wants to hear that their country is a terrible place to live, that it's not worth defending. When you start to share those kinds of narratives, like the New York Times 1619 Project, there are people that will believe that narrative and decide they don't want to serve their country, and there are people that will hate that narrative and say, this isn't what I signed up for, and we're not going to be able to recruit those people into our service either.
I mean, who the heck would want to go to work for a commander-in-chief that literally, I think he despises America. He's oftentimes apologizes for it, just like his old boss Barack Obama did. But all this brings us to the big question, is are we ready? Well, the Heritage Foundation, Dakota Wood, talked about this. Let me roll this soundbite for you and then get your response.
We think our military is marginally capable of fulfilling its mission. What we talk about in terms of the marginal capabilities or a weak service is that it's not big enough, or the equipment that it has is too old to keep pace with the developments of our adversaries and competitors around the world.
Colonel Lohmeier, I've been talking about it all week. China launched a hypersonic missile around the globe. We're years away from being able to do the same thing. And then we have ranks of military that could put us in a real problem. He says we may not be ready, marginally ready. We've got real enemies out there that are ready. How concerned are you?
Well, the hypersonic glide vehicles issue isn't a new problem, although it's hit the press in the past week. I'll tell you, our senior military leaders and certain portions of our active duty force are very concerned about this problem and have been for some time. And I know there's dedicated efforts to combating both detecting, reporting, and finding ways to shoot down that type of a weapon. But one of the questions that we need to ask ourselves is, are we going to have the funding to create the kinds of capabilities that can defeat that weapon, and will we have the manpower? The Biden administration is talking about cutting an extra 5,000 service members, according to that Heritage report. We're already facing the retention and recruitment problems, and now we're going to cut additional personnel from our services. Really bad choice. I think we're going to have to make some different decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about hypersonic technology. That's, I believe, is 2 miles every second. That's how fast it's going. 2 miles in 1 second. It's got to be difficult to shoot out of the air. But Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Lohmeier, Great to have you on the program. Thank you, as always.
Thanks, Grant. Appreciate being here.